Hello everyone, welcome to this evening webinar on Autobiography Yogi Daily Wisdom. My name is Brahmachari Devendra and with me is Brahmachari Gaurav. We are from Khandala, living in Khandala, so we'll be this evening do some chanting, some meditation for about half an hour, and then we'll also be discussing from Autobiography Yogi, the app, some lines, some wisdom that Yogananda ji has given in the book. So we'll be discussing for half an hour at the end from 8 to 8:30. We'll be discussing those lines. So let's begin this evening with chant and prayer. Let's begin with the chant first. Invoking the presence of God and Guru in the satsang. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in the ocean, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song. Listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms of dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet. In secret in my door, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet, dipping them in the ocean. I will lay them at thy feet. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Levi Mahashay, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religion, humbly we bow to you all. Divine Mother, open our hearts, fill us with thy love, thy light, and thy joy. Help us to know thy will, that we can act in tune with thy will. Om Shanti.
The words to this next chant are, listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. 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 I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. The words to this chant are, engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Divine Mother, my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Divine Mother, 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 my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Divine Mother, 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 my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Divine Mother, 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 my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind mine. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, divine mother, 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 my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. Lotus feet of my divine mother, engrossed is the bee of my mind. On the blue lotus feet of my divine mother, divine mother, 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 my divine mother. Let's sit up right now, away from the back of the chair. Let's tense and relax the whole body in preparation for meditation. Let's take a double breath and inhale. Tense, vibrate, gathering all the tension, and relax as you exhale. Twice more. One last time. Now close your eyes and completely relax the body and forget about it now. And let your attention come now solely to your breath. You can start by observing the movement of the breath as you feel it in the stomach, pushing the stomach in and out. And then see that breath causing the heaving of the chest, in and out. And finally, bring your attention to the point where the breath enters the nostrils and up into the nasal cavity. Now, as you feel the next inhalation coming through the nose, mentally repeat the mantra Hong, H-O-N-G. And as you feel that breath of its own leaving the body, follow it mentally with the chant of Sa. Hong with the inhalation, Sa with the exhalation. Let's practice this technique for a few minutes. Now let go of the technique, but simply sit in silence, gazing deeply at the point between the eyebrows. Trying to feel a sense of expanding peace enveloping your brain and whole body. Om. 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 Welcome once again, dear friends. It's our joy, Devendra and mine, to be with all of you this evening. Thank you for joining us. And we will be sharing the wisdom of the Autobiography of a Yogi app, which is available on Android as well as iPhone. You can download it if you don't have it already. And the first passage that I'll be reading this evening is, in fact, the very first lines of the book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And I will read these out. The characteristic features of Indian culture have long been a search for ultimate verities and the concomitant disciple-guru relationship. It was interesting to me when I read this that in his very first statement in this great classic, the Autobiography, Yogananda ji in fact gives to the reader the very essence of life, not just of the spiritual life, but all life. You know, what is the goal of all life? What is the meaning of all life? He puts it very clearly in that first line that I just read. But not only that, also, how does one go about fulfilling that search, is what he said. So I'll read this again and listen to it a little more carefully now. The characteristic features of Indian culture have long been a search for ultimate verities. Verities also means truths or principles, and the concomitant disciple-guru relationship. So there are a few interesting points here. One, he sets out very clearly and says that, of course, the Indian culture has imbibed this, but really any culture or any country in the world or any person in the world, he says that what is the goal, what is the purpose, is that ultimate search for truth, that search for freedom, that search for meaning in our lives, whether we are conscious of it or not, whether we are on a spiritual path or not. But that drive within each one of us that propels us day after day to be looking for what is happiness, what is true, what is real, what is unreal. And so that quest of the soul, that longing of the soul, is what he says has been characteristic of Indian culture. And then he says something interesting. He says, and the concomitant, which the dictionary meaning of concomitant is naturally accompanying. So he says, the naturally accompanying disciple guru relationship, which is a very interesting way of putting it, because it excludes all other possibilities, which is to say, in a nutshell, Yogananda ji is saying that that inner search, that inner desire has to but be followed by an entering into a relationship by the seeker, by the truth seeker, a relationship with the guru, a relationship of the disciple with the guru. And it is almost as if that is a law. And Yogananda ji himself said so, that the ultimate mystery of life can be solved only by the channel, by the grace, by the instrument of a true guru, one who has found that ultimate truth and who has the power to uplift the disciple to be able to find that freedom and that truth in his or her own life. And not only in India, but it's interesting to see that great gurus anywhere throughout the world, past, present, or future, great masters everywhere honor and follow this principle of guru discipleship. It was interesting in the life of Jesus Christ that Yogananda said that in that life of Christ, he too had a guru whom he met in very unusual circumstances. He said, in fact, that John the Baptist was Christ's guru in that lifetime. And it is interesting that Yogananda said in a previous life, John the Baptist and Christ were Elijah, who was a prophet, and Jesus was one of his foremost disciples by the name of Elisha. And Yogananda said that in that lifetime, towards the end, Elijah, who was John in this lifetime, gave a double portion of his spirit, or you can say his spiritual mantle, to Elisha before he was about to pass away. And in this lifetime of John the Baptist and Christ, when they first met and they came to see each other, Christ recognized that John was his guru from a previous incarnation, and he asked him to baptize him, with water. But John the Baptist obviously realized that this was a very great soul, even perhaps greater than he himself was. And so he hesitated to baptize this great soul. But Jesus nevertheless persisted, and he said, let this happen, let this baptism take place from you to me, just so that all righteousness be fulfilled, which was his way of honoring and obeying that sacred guru-disciple relationship. Yogananda said sometimes it does happen that a disciple becomes far more advanced than the guru, as was in the rare case of Jesus and John. But still, it is interesting that Jesus emphasized and insisted that John baptize him as the guru. And so, dear friends, if you are, in that first category of the seeker who has not yet found his guru, but is still seeking, still looking for those, searching for those ultimate truths, as Yogananda ji writes, but have not perhaps found a true guru, one who you feel has God, knows God, and can also take you God, don't despair. I would say that pray for the blessing of attracting a true guru. It says, Adi Shankaracharya it was who said that in all the three worlds, in the physical, astral, and causal worlds, there is no greater blessing than the blessing of a true guru. So if you have not found that guru yet, pray for the blessing to have one. And if you already have a search, you're on your spiritual path, and also have the blessing to have attracted a true guru, count your blessings always. Never take them for granted. And with daily deep effort, follow the guru, because he is ultimately who will take us beyond the shores of suffering and misery to the land of eternal freedom.
So we'll take the next line from Autobiography Yogi app. This is December 21st here, and it's from chapter 46 of Autobiography Yogi, the woman yogi who never eats, Giribala. Master says here, it appears that misery, starvation, and disease are whips of our karmas, which ultimately drive us to seek the true meaning of life. Now, Master is hinting here that what makes us to seek the true meaning of the life, and pain and suffering, they hint us that there's something wrong with us. If we have physical pain, bodily pain, that our body is drawing attention that there's something wrong with me. If we are suffering mentally, spiritually, it's our spiritual body, you can say, that is drawing our attention that there's something wrong with it. And sometimes it's easy to find what is wrong, and sometimes it's not easy to find what is wrong. And that is the difference, that human being can find out what is wrong with me, why I am suffering. Master said that the difference between the animals and human being is that when animals suffer, they don't know why they are suffering. They do all kinds of things. They kill each other, and they eat each other, but they are working with the nature. So they don't have that much of the ego as human beings have. And because they are working with the nature, they suffer less. And when they are suffering, they don't know why they are suffering. And human beings, when they suffer much more. And but there's a thing that they can find out why they are suffering. Sometimes it's easy to find out why they are suffering, and sometimes it's not easy for us why we are suffering. It's because sometimes the actions of the past life can come in this life, and it's difficult to find out. Master said that sometime the devotees on the spiritual path, there are several kinds. One, sometimes they're running in a race, they're moving very fast. Sometimes devotees slow down, they are moving slow, and sometimes the devotees are they get riddled by the firings of devotions. And sometimes devotees start moving in the reverse direction even. So there are all kinds of devotees running on the spiritual path. But Master said that everybody is on the spiritual path. Everyone is seeking God. But one thing is that some people seeking in the right direction. Some people don't know where they are seeking. Some people, they murder other people. They think that by murdering other people, by getting things from other people, we will get happiness. But we are looking in the wrong direction. That is what all about. But a time will come, the suffering, the miseries that will hint us that what is wrong with us, and they will help us to go in the right direction. Another thing is that Master Yogananda ji in Autobiography Yogi, he says that he writes the words anguishing monotony, meaning in our souls we have gone through so many lifetimes that, believe me or not, that we have, if you're listening to this talk, that we have gone enough in the past life, that we have experienced all sorts of things and going ups and downs in the lifetime. And all of a sudden in this life, we begin to remember that I have gone through almost everything. I have enjoyed everything. I have gone through ups, and I have suffered also in the past life. So a soul, we don't remember clearly, but somewhere in our soul, we remember that I know what is all about, but not clearly maybe. So this is what Master has called in Autobiography Yogi, that souls going through anguishing monotony, that remembering all the past life, in a nutshell, you can say, not exactly. And coming back to the law of karma, that the law of karma is not very mechanical, that it teaches us, it's hard on us, and it's punishing, but it's very intelligent. It's not mechanical, but it's very intelligent. It's not something very cruel, but it's loving, that it points us in the right direction. Sometimes it's harsh. Master says that when you break God's law, it's hard sometimes on us, but it is moving us in the right direction. To illustrate this with a story will be a very simple story of a man. Probably he was a disciple of Master, and he had this problem in his leg. I forget the name of the disease, what he had, but he was basically, you can say, paralyzed in one of his legs. He cannot move one of his leg. And Master said that because this happened because in the past life he hit his mother with that leg, and because the mother had given the life to this child, to her son, and so the life which was given to the son, it was withdrawn from his leg. Because the karmic law was intelligent, it was not just like that, that the son will become mother in the next life, and he it will be hit by another, her son. So the law of karma is intelligent. So he was teaching him that the life which was given to him by his mother, it was withdrawn from his leg. And so he will not be able to hit another person, another mother in the next life. So now this is very hard, that how a person can know why I am paralyzed, why I'm not able to move one of my leg. But there is a lesson in each karmas. When we suffer, when a person is suffering, probably is intelligence to ask, it's best to ask why this is happening with me and what can I do about it, and pray for that, that guidance come to me, that intelligence is given to me, that I can figure this out, that why this is happening to me. So coming back to the point, Master says that here he says that misery, starvation, disease are whips of our karmas, which ultimately drive us to seek the true meaning of our life. And when we question ourselves why we are suffering, what can we do about it, we are moving towards a greater intelligence, to a greater purpose in our life. So we can we'll move to the next one.
Okay, the next passage is from January 3rd. Why be elated by material profit? The one who pursues a goal of even-mindedness is neither jubilant with gain nor depressed by loss. He knows that man arrives penniless in this world and departs without a single rupee. These words were said by Paramahansa Yogananda's father, Bhagavati Charan Ghosh. And he said this to one of his sons when his son saw that his father had received a big bonus from his company, but did not get, jubilant, if we use the expression, by that. In fact, he didn't even notice, and he didn't even want that money. It was someone else who noticed that and brought it to his attention. Now, his father says here, be neither jubilant with gain nor depressed by loss. And in a nutshell, he is referring to the human condition wherein the ups and downs of life, as Devendra was referring to, keep us always bobbing up and down like a yo-yo. It's like the waves of an ocean. They go up high and then they come down equally with a trough. And this constant going up and down to the soul is very painful. And it is as if our true nature, our true happiness is hidden from us. And we are blindly seeking, groping, looking for that happiness. And in pursuit of that, we keep going up and high. They did a research many years ago in the United States about people who win lotteries, big lotteries. And what they found was very interesting, that these people, who win hundreds and thousands of dollars, it wasn't as if after that point, one would think, oh, such material gain, their lives would be, forever good now and beneficial. They found that the benefit or the joy or the happiness, if you want to call it that, of winning that lottery lasted approximately 6 months. And it took a peak, kept going high, high, high. But after that point, it reached a plateau after which it started going down. And it's interesting to see, it went down for various reasons, but inevitably it went down. Either the person did not know how to use the money, or they, gambled it away, or whatever it might have been. The only people who were happy were the ones, the research suggested, who used the money to help others, or, to help good causes. Now, economics also tells us, if you are an economics student, something called as diminishing marginal utility, which is basically saying that you consume a thing and it gives you satisfaction or pleasure till a certain point, but it's not as if you keep consuming it and it keeps giving you more and more joy. No, after a point, the joy comes down. And friends, it is the same with us in life. For a moment, just think, because this is true, but I'll come back to that. Think about all the happiness that you're looking for in life, eternal happiness, unconditional happiness, joy unimaginable. And realize that that joy, that bliss, that unending happiness is within you right now, just within you, even at this moment. Now, why is it hard to feel that or to experience that in this moment? It is because before our eyes, there is a moment to moment, day by day hypnosis that keeps our attention always focused outward. It's as if you're driving a car and you're moving towards coming to a high mountain, and there is a beautiful view just outside your car, outside the rear view mirror, a front view mirror, and there is a snow-capped mountain and meadows, but it's pouring tremendously and a lot of rain on your windshield, and you're using your wipers to remove it, but the rain is coming with such intensity, such force, that all you can see is the raindrops, and you try to peer through the raindrops, you're trying to see that beautiful mountain, but you just cannot, because the raindrops keep intruding. And soon what happens, you get tired, you start focusing on the raindrops. And those start to become fascinating to you. And you see, oh, this raindrop and that raindrop. And that is something of what the human condition is, that our mind keeps telling us, oh, because it isn't still enough to experience that joy, that happiness that is always within, it looks outward. And it goes, as Yogananda's father said, up with a gain and down with a loss, and it says, oh, maybe that'll bring me happiness. And you go after that for a while, and what happens? It brings us a little joy, a pleasure, but then it goes down. And almost immediately, your mind says, maybe now that will bring me happiness. This person, that place, that circumstance, if this would happen, when that would take place. And a constant hypnosis goes on for lifetimes. Isn't that scary? But what is the way out of this? And it's interesting to note that Patanjali said the definition of yoga, the goal of yoga, he said, not, some philosophy of this would happen, that would happen. He put it very simply, neutralizing those waves of feeling, the waves that we were just talking about, ups and downs, not to get rid of them, just to neutralize them, which is to say that if we stop going up and down, and we are calm enough to rest at the center, then we touch that eternal happiness and joy that we've always been looking for. And so the way to do it is also in that passage, which is, he said, even-mindedness. Yogananda's guru said, be cheerful and even-minded at all times, which is to say, test yourself sometimes. When a desire comes up or a thought comes up which tells you, you need that to be happy, I want this to be happy, tell yourselves, I don't think having that 100% hike in my salary or that new big car, how long will the happiness last? I think I can do without it. And test your mind in that way. And in little ways and in big ways, try to always remain centered and even-minded. And slowly with practice, wean the pull that the world has on you, wean the pull that desires, that circumstances, that expectations, everything, till you bring it down to just one thing, which is that you're able to rest peacefully, joyfully, ever happily within your own self, within your own true nature inside.
So I'll take a couple of short stanzas here. This is, interestingly, December 25th, which is Christ's birthday. This is from chapter 43 of Autobiography Yogi, Resurrection of Sri Yukteswar. When a soul finally gets out of the three jars of worldly delusions, it becomes one with the infinite without any loss of individuality. Christ had won this final freedom even before he was born as Jesus. In three stages of his past, symbolized in his earth life as the 3 days of his experience of death and resurrection, he had attained the power to fully arise in spirit. This is the Christmas season we are celebrating. We celebrated, you can say, uh, a social Christmas and a spiritual Christmas by meditating, as Yogananda Ji was. Uh, he started the tradition of meditation, 8 hour Christmas meditation. Before social Christmas celebration, he started the tradition of 8 hour Christmas meditation, when you meditate for a long time and try to experience the Christ consciousness within yourself. And then with that experience, you go out and mix with other people. You try to bring out that Christ consciousness with to other people to inspire them. Now, when Christ, Master like Christ, uh, an avatar like Christ come, they have, they inspire, they uplift the whole humanity. Because they are avatar, they have the power to do so. And Christ was, as Master is saying, that Christ was perfected in the past life. That uh, Yogananda says that in the past life, Christ was Eliseus or Elisha, and his guru, John the Baptist, in this life was Elijah. So that's why in the Bible, Christ says, Elijah has come already. And Master says that, how come Christians say that there is no reincarnation? That go and open your Bible and say that Christ says Elijah has come already, that John the Baptist has born in this life, is born in this life as he was in the past life Elijah. So again, Elijah and Eliseus, they were guru and disciple in the past life. And this life, they come back as John the Baptist and Christ, as Jesus. And now they keep coming back to earth again and again. Pastor says very interestingly that the greatest thing we can do in this life is to inspire, is to tell everyone, is to remind them that they are not, that they are the immortal beings, that they are not the mortal beings, but they are immortal beings. Now, this is the greatest thing we can do in our life. And this is what exactly the Christ, Krishna, Babaji, Yogananda ji, they keep coming to remind us that they are not the mortal beings, but we are immortal beings. And in a sense that they are saying what Patanjali is trying to give the definition of final aim of the yoga. He says smriti, that remembrance, that what any yoga practice gives us. So this is what any great master who incarnate on this earth 100 times, they are trying to remind us that we also are immortal beings, that we are not just the body. And this is the greatest thing we can do with anyone. And this is what masters are doing. And how they do, and just like the next, the line I'm taking here, because the time is shorter, he says, how do they do is another reading from December 29th. He says, the Sanskrit root of kriya is kri, to do, to act, and react. The same root is found in the word karma, the natural principle of cause and effect. Kriya Yoga is thus union yoga with the infinite through a certain action or rite. A yogi who faithfully follows its technique is gradually freed from karma or the universal chain of causation. Now, Master is saying in the first, when I was reading the first stanza from line from Autobiography Yogi, he says that karma is bringing back, it reminds us as true purpose of the life. The great Master come to remind us that we are immortal beings. But how do we do that is through the practice of the yoga. And the greatest technique is the practice of the Kriya Yoga. Kriya comes from the same root as karma. Both means action. Karma means outer action, but Kriya is means that it's an inner action. Inner action is greater than the outer action. It has the power to free us from consequences of all the outward actions. What does it mean by kriya? Just simply take in a couple of lines. Master said that when we do the kriya, we withdraw all our energies which are moving outward to our spine. In our spine, we center all our energies. And as the energy is centered in the spine, we act from that inwardness. And ultimately, what happens that when we go so deep in kriya, that uh, Master says that it burns the past actions, the past karmas. It has become the inner action becomes so powerful that it burns out the past actions, the past outward actions that we have done. And then we gain so much power by doing the kriya that ultimate definition of the kriya is an act of devotional self-offering. We gain so much control over ourselves that we begin to offer ourselves to the divine. And finally, we completely offer ourselves. The ego is offered at the feet of the divine. So finally, when we perfect the Kriya Yoga, that we free ourselves from all the desires, from all past actions, and also we are able to offer ourselves at the feet of the divine. So this is what Kriya Yoga does. Master said that when we perfect in this Kriya Yoga, we still act, but not from the point of material actions, from the sense of desire, from any things that we are desiring, but from the sense of that pleasing to the divine, that we act from very high spiritual point of view, that we are not working from the material point of view, but only from the spiritual point of view, that we are working to help others. And so it's like writing. Master says that when a saint is acting, they are still acting, but their action is like writing on water. That they are acting, but they're not yet acting. In a final sense, we can say that Master is to say that, well, God is in creation and beyond the creation. He is acting. He's not also acting, and this is what we have to achieve. That we are part of this world, but we are not of it. We don't really belong to here. So we have to finally come to this consciousness of that we are acting in this world, but we are acting from the consciousness of God. And this is what Kriya Yoga can give us. Practice of the Kriya Yoga can give us that ultimately. When we are acting in this world, we are acting as a channel of the divine. We are still acting, but only as a channel of the divine. So, friends, we'll close this evening. Let's close this evening by prayer. Visualize anyone you know in need of healing. See them in God's light. Surround them in divine light. Rub the palms together and send these people who are needing physical, mental, or spiritual healing, sending them the light. Chant Om 3 times. Om.